Hey all, just doing a rundown of what happened today, and I, I'm just as I'm going through and reviewing the charts, I'm trying to figure out what would be the most likely scenario from here. And something crossed my mind, which I'm going to loop back to at the very end of this review, and just tell you what I think is a possibility of something that could happen. Okay, so first let's talk about what did happen. Gap down on oil going crazy, war headlines, blah, blah, blah. Dropped off the open, rallied here on the ES. This was, I would say, a very hated rally. This weird balance in the morning ended up breaking bull. We did get the 50-minute higher low that held, and then we got a news headline that pushed things up higher into the close. Essentially, a headline saying that the war is quote like pretty much done, whatever the heck that means. Meanwhile, bombs are going off. Okay, so market liked that news. It rallied. We are still in a downtrend. There's still a lot of work to do. We have a declining daily EMA 12, weekly EMA 12, 50-day simple moving average. We did touch the monthly EMA 12 here on ES. We did not get, we were, the final print, because it was a rally day, the final print on this was like above 40 RSI. So it's not exactly an oversold daily RSI, but it doesn't need to be to get a bounce going. Just for the record, it was not. And, I think I look at this, same thing happened on NQ, right? And if you go down to the 4-hour time frame and take a gander, here's what we're looking at. So basically a stair step up, and you're going to see this same thing on a lot of charts I'm about to look at. So if this is going to work, we're going to be looking at like this sort of a level here, trying to see, are we going to get a 4-hour higher low, right? So that's what I'm looking at for NQ. Same sort of deal here on ES, 4-hour higher low. Are we going to get it or not? And let's go through and look at some of the other strong names. I was pretty blown away at this move here on SNDK, which, by the way, did not need the headline to make the rally. It was right off the open that this thing started to go. Boom. And it did not gap down. This is not weakness. And so this was a real shocker to me when I did my review at the end of the day. Not only did it hold, but if you look down here, I've got this identified as a 4-day EMA 12 rider because it was holding all through all this stuff. And look where it bounced right at the 4-day again. Boom, straight up into daily EMA 12. Huge rally, encompassing the entire prior trading day of negative red. Sorry, of negative red as a double, as a double negative of red on the day before into this move up. So again, look at this thing on the 4-hour time frame. We're going to be scouting a 4-hour higher low. For like this, if this thing has legs and it's going to go, that would be the ideal situation. MU, same thing. Look at this move up. It held the weekly EMA 12 rider, which it's been holding. I did not buy on Friday, and today I wasn't even thinking about this. It broke this low from back here. Probably, let's take a look. That was monthly consolidation beginning straight into a hard rally. Back to daily, pretty decent volume, above average, not crazy. And was it right off the open as well? Yes. No, balance off the open and then a rally. But either way, memory names looking pretty interesting. SMH, huge rally off these lows. And we're basically, we basically double bottomed right there. I can't remember exactly what the numbers are, but that's a really big rally. And if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, of course, yes, what are we going to be looking for? 4-hour higher low based on the size of that retracement. AAOI. This thing, I thought it was toast on Friday. Look at this on the 30-minute time frame. It had this range it had been trading in, right? And then we had this break out of that range, super strong, and then it just fade right off into the close. And then when everything else is gapping down, what did it do? Did not gap down. Opened up within prior day range, dipped below and up again. So I guess the bulls aren't done here, even though I thought they were. EWY, this is the South Korea ETF. This thing had a 4-hour falling wedge here. That broke bull. And same thing, looking for a 4-hour higher low now. And if you look at this on the daily time frame, again, holding the weekly EMA 12, which it was a rider. Did I buy it? No. Why? I don't know. There's so much uncertainty in the market right now. It's hard. It's hard. It's just a difficult time to be thinking, confident in any direction. Okay, Google. Look at this daily candle on Google. We broke this low. We broke through the dip, the daily oversold area that I bought. And look at this hard rally today. Look at it all day long. Straight off the open. Rider. 5-minute rider until here. Then held a little dip and continued on up. This is crazy. I was shocked to see this one today. So what are we expecting now off this move? 4-hour higher low. And last but not least, IGV. This one's worth looking at because this thing has been strong, right? And to me, it looks a little toppy. I mean, we did break the low of prior day into technically daily consolidation, but then we went up all day. Now, not big ranges or anything, but like looking good. And look, the volume is still really, it has not ceased. There's still lots of buying. Like, I'm not going to say buying volume. It's just volume. But this is the only one where I'm like, oh, I would be surprised if from here it just went straight up more. It doesn't mean it can't. I would just be surprised. Look at the 4-hour on this one. It's basically a 12-hour EMA 12 rider. It's in a bit of balance here, and we're going to see, is it going to be able to flag its way out of this and keep going, or is it going to need a bit of a deeper move before then figuring out what it's going to do? Like, I don't know. But that's the only one. So IGV and tech software, not sure. And I think if I'm going to try to figure out what IGV is going to do, then I pretty much have to look through all of the software names to try to figure out, what are the strongest names in IGV. And I already have a list of those. So just take a deeper dive and see how are they looking. And, I think if they're looking good for a continued rally, then IGV might just, break bullish out of this. But I think rest, either in the form of sideways or slight retracement, will be really good for this name. Anyway, I digress. What is the thing that I think could happen? Okay, this is what always happens. So first of all, let me go back and look at NQ or ES, sure. What have we noticed? Anytime we have a gap down, we rally out of it. Anytime we have a gap up, we dump. That's what's been happening in this entire area. So on this day where we gap down after the weekend, are we shocked really that we rallied out of that? Or is this just par for the course, right? And if we rallied so much that in the after hours that we gapped up tomorrow morning, wouldn't the most likely thing be that we then dump right off the open on a gap up and then pretty much give back too much for us to think that this 4-hour higher low is going to work? That would be like, if the market continues to do the things that it's been doing, that would be the thing that I would expect, is like a gap up straight into a dump, and the dump is enough to make me think, oh, we're not getting a 4-hour higher low. Now we're going to get a lower high or some kind of balance and go lower. That would be the thing that I think would happen. But I was sort of thinking about this and trying to figure out, like, what would be the most painful thing that could happen? What would be the thing that would suck the most? And that, I think, would be if we gapped up tomorrow and we rallied, a gap and go. It would be the least expected thing, right? Everybody is going to be looking for the 4-hour higher low. If anybody knows anything but technical analysis anyway, they're going to be looking, we've made enough room to make a higher low on the retracement. So that's what we should be doing. If we gap up, that's what everybody's going to want to do. And if it just starts to go up, or worse, if it just goes like, does a thing like this, where it goes like this, and then slowly does that grind up, everybody's going to hate that. And nobody's going to want to buy it. But they will have to if it keeps going, because they can't not be in a rally like that. And that is why, like, if we get a gap up and then a balance, we might get that drift that just forces its way back to the top. And everybody slowly has to be like, oh my God, I guess I have to buy it. And that's what makes it get that curve and start to make its way back up. That, I think, is the most painful thing. I wouldn't want to buy that. I want a higher low. Who doesn't want a higher low? Everybody wants a higher low. So what if we don't get one? What if we just gap and we just go? That's the thing that I think I'm going to be watching for tomorrow to see. And that's it. good luck trading. See you guys out there.